Hi everyone. It's a real privilege to be with you today for this virtual conference. As a result of the current context not allowing us to meet in person, it is digitally that we will communicate today. This is also what removing constraint is about. It is about being able to adapt to an ever-changing environment while ensuring that we continue moving forward. The reason why I'm here with you today is to share the terms and conditions of McDonald's France's transformation using the theory of constraint in order to improve our overall operational performance. But firstly, please let me introduce myself in a few words. I'm Eric Bisson, Senior Vice President, Operation, Technology and PMO at McDonald's France. Even though I have spent most of my professional life at McDonald's, nothing initially made me destined to stay there. Like 75% of our employees, I started as a crew member while studying as a delegate of medical information. I believe that life is made of science, and back at that point in time, I will be able to pinpoint a business with a rigorous execution, an outstanding organization with the will to integrate anyone wishing to try their luck and invest themselves in order to develop both the system and their skills. I therefore seized the opportunity that was offered to me. This year will be my 30 years at McDonald's. We could break down my career in three main points in time. Firstly, I come from a strong field experience. I have spent 10 years in restaurant from a crew member position to director and supervisor roles for a franchisee. Therefore, I can say that I know the rigorousness that it takes to develop and run a McDonald's restaurant. The 10 years that follow, it is within the McDonald's French headquarters that I have followed my career as a trainer and later on as an operation process developer. To then return to the restaurant as a field service manager in charge of the Paris area. A 3-year hiatus was offered to me as I have worked at McDonald's headquarters in Chicago as a worldwide operation manager. My role at this time was to develop production processes, including sandwiches, drinks, and desserts, as well as the service procedures within the McDonald's Innovation Center, continuously supporting countries in implementing those once they return. Only one objective: develop operational excellence and improve restaurant performance. It is within this structure that we had the possibility to live test all the possible restaurant configurations in their specific country conditions. Country specificities is a point on which I will come back later on in the presentation. The last few years have been spent implementing the solution in part of Europe and France. We should not be mistaken. When talking to you about operations, I'm talking to you about the development of processes aimed at benefiting the business. On the kitchen production side, we must find the right balance between production and service, allowing us to meet the growing demand from our customers. Today, my responsibility is to develop the necessary tools for the development of the customer experience in France. I must focus on a variety of things in order to maintain high level of product quality for our customers, maintain high level of operational execution in order to provide our customer the best possible experience in the term of service. Doing so while simplifying the work of restaurant teams. Put it in 3 letters. I'm referring to QSC, quality, service, and cleanliness. On the customer side, behind the customer service, which is essentially to build strong client relationship, I will mostly focus today on speed of service, a key part of our business growth. Indeed, speed of execution is at the heart of my concerns. Our stakes as not only will this allow us to continue developing, it is this speed of service that our customers are looking to get within our restaurants. In the interest of getting a greater understanding of what we have done, we first need to better understand McDonald's in France and learn who the French consumer are, which I will develop to explain to you our journey and steps we have taken towards continuous improvement, which led us to use the principles of the theory of constraint. Finally, I will share with you the results that we have achieved and the next steps that we are currently considering. In my presentation, after a brief introduction, I will describe how McDonald's has adapted to the French market. Then, describe how our new restaurant operating model made for you, or full restaurant, as it was originally, and how we improved the model using the theory of constraints. McDonald's is the world leader in quick service restaurant, and therefore, obviously, speed is at the heart of our market offering. So, operational excellence is absolutely critical, as you will see throughout my presentation. We are always looking to improve flow. So we are always testing and integrating new ideas, such as the theory of constraint and lean. What is special in our implementation of the theory of constraints is that we are a quick service industry. We must at all time minimize client waiting time. So we must have an average, for example, for a 2 hours lunch period, excess capacity compared to the average demand. We want to avoid a queue of clients as much as possible, but then, during these 2 hours, we will have mini rush when suddenly 20 or more customers arrive at the same time. The restaurant is then temporarily overloaded for 5 or 10 minutes. A bottleneck will appear. It is these bottlenecks or resources with the least capacity that we must use as control points to manage the flow. As you will see, when the bottleneck is identified, we must decide if it is a good or bad bottleneck. Initially, the bottleneck we first identified was a bad one, and so we eliminated it. Then, later, we choose the best bottleneck or best control point and build a simple and robust flow management system based on the theory of constraint. Let us start with France, as we often refer to it as a singular country with strong market specificities. What makes France the country it is? It's ultimately its people, the French, as we believe that we are in many ways unique. This is partly true thanks to our history and culture. If we are to understand the challenges that must be overcome, we must first understand France. A few things to know about France and why French people think that they are so unique. France, it's a great country of paradoxes. Do you know that France is the most pessimistic country in the world? Only 3% of French people believe that the situation will get better in the next 6 months. But France has the second highest fertility rate in Europe. Did you know that France has one of the strongest social protection systems? French people have a social system that they are proud of. More than 86% of them think that the social model is a main part of the French national identity. But it has a heavy cost for the employees and can be a burden for the French economy. Did you know France has a lovely relationship with the US? French people are big fans of the US and its pop culture. They have always fantasized about American freedom and their successful lifestyle. But French people are taking some distance with mass culture and consumerism, symbolized for them by America. A lot of them think Americans have a lack of consideration for the rest of the world. Did you know? French identity is intimately linked to its gastronomy. French gastronomy has been recognized by UNESCO. Have you heard about foie gras, cassoulet? As a matter of fact, French food has a unique, strong flavor. Indeed, French people value the quality of ingredients and rather prefer handcraft products, basic local production, and product traceability. But it doesn't prevent them from being curious about other food traditions. It's a certain idea of the exotism for us. Did you know about French eating habits? Eating occasions are real ceremonies. They are focused around lunch and dinner, often at home and taken at set times. French people take time. It is social occasion for share. Hide meals out of town how to take with other people. They have a particularly structured meal with at least 2 items, where the norm is to drink water or wine. The IO market is very fragmented with a lot of independent brasseries, petit café, and boulangerie. In other words, on the French market, burgers and global place, it is still quite small, and McDonald's is far ahead of the whole. Now that we have a better grasp on how French and France works, let us take a look at McDonald's in France. We will look at this long history that celebrates its 40th anniversary last year. 40 years ago, in France, the arrival of McDonald's somewhat disrupted the way we consume food. A burger that you eat with your hands, an out-of-home meal at an affordable price, the place where children can eat while having fun, and certainly a little bit of American dream. At the very beginning, McDonald's simply applied a recipe that worked anywhere, serving quality burgers in a clean environment and fast. On the other hand, our strong culture in terms of gathering has led us to adapt, to transform ourselves in order to meet the needs of our French consumers, who, as previously mentioned, had a stronger expectation in terms of integration. As already said, we are the country of gastronomy, bistros, and jambon beurre. We undoubtedly had the Big Mac, the fries, and the sundae, but this was not sufficient to integrate in the best possible way to the French market. We had to introduce a number of products that embody the French culture, such as cheese or the baguette, which are part of our heritage. We went a little bit further by breaking fast food codes and adopting restaurant codes, reviewing our decors to make them premium and also make our restaurant real restaurants where our clients and their children love to gather. We talked about who we were and above all what we were doing in terms of quality, employment, through the sustainable partnerships with farmers. It was a long-term job, which was not a question of convincing but rather demonstrating through our actions what our ambition for integration was. After 40 years, we are market leaders in France. This is the reward obtained through accomplishing local work, especially with our restaurant, to create a strong link with our clients, step into our restaurants on a daily basis. 80% of French people are McDonald's customers. Our market share represents 13.6% of the IO. Today, we have 1,489 restaurants, including 85% franchised, with more than 300 franchises split across the territory. In addition, we are facing a unique consumption mode driven by its large scale. French people eat twice a day at regular hours, which is why we experience 70% of our transactions during lunch and dinner. This specificity represents the biggest challenge that McDonald's France faces in comparison to other countries, as we must respond to a growing demand during the peak hours to efficiently bridge the gap between production capacity and service capacity that only a few countries face. It will be very easy to stop there. However, France also has one of the highest average meal checks, and the number of items per transaction is very high. Even though our customer eats more during lunch and dinner hours, they do not tend to snack between meals. It will be a little long to explain our journey over the past 30 years, but in order to respond to the challenges faced on the customer side by McDonald's, France has been a very first country to implement self-ordering kiosks, leading to the smoother, more efficient service, allowing us to increase our capacity to serve while continuing to adapt to new consumption modes. Even though France has long been spared from competition, it faces today a diversified offer in a growing competitive market. Our consumers are more demanding as they expect more diversity, quality, and variety. It was therefore crucial for us to open a new chapter, to continue moving forward, and also to stay ahead of competition, and take another important step to reinvent ourselves. We had to continue our transformation in order to anticipate our clients' needs. With our new full restaurant made for you concept, we have started a revolution, culturally, for our restaurant teams and consumers, and physically, which can be visible to anyone. We have broken down the codes of the fast food industry to become a real restaurant, not a bistro, but a real restaurant for families. For all families. To reinvent oneself, it's to take into account our specificities and ensure that we continue performing without increasing staffing needs, anticipating customers' needs, transforming customer experience using modern tools, and reinforcing the usage of the existing tools such as self-ordering kiosk present in our restaurant in France since 2007, adjusting our production process to respond to our market specificities, high peak, high arrival rate, high level of item per transaction, guarantee the best quality of our customers while operating one of our biggest changes we know in production mode. From make to stock to make to order, this is the new McDonald's restaurant, already in place in more than 80% of our restaurants, with on the service side the possibility for our customer to order as they wish, at the front counter, at the drive-thru, at the self-ordering kiosk, using our McDonald's app, or through the tablets for ordering their food. It is our duty to adapt to our clients and not to the opposite. Our customers have a choice of how they wish to conduct their experience, which we can complete with table service should they wish to eat in. On the production side, we have 3 production lines per restaurant, allowing us to make our sandwiches in a small factory way, where each line produces in function of the orders it receives and is open depending on demand within restaurants. Identically, we produce fries, drinks, and dessert in this way to guarantee high quality of product, freshly prepared, and an all-round experience for our clients. However, producing based on customer order has another advantage. We are able to offer more variety in terms of product and above all, more personalizations, which in today's world holds on the key to success in business. I will quickly cover the revolution that we operated on our menu, but more than putting it to words, I invite you to come and discover them in our restaurant when we are able to travel again. What we should keep front of mind is to have a complete offer which include gourmet burgers, fresh salads prepared at the restaurant, thanks to our salad bar, and a complete ice cream offer enriched with new chocolate and fruit-based strawberry flavors. In order to put all of this in place, we have had to review the approach we had towards our consumers. With more than 70,000 employees, we do not become restoration professionals overnight. We have to change our approach and teach them to build relationships with our clients. We are inspired by some of the best examples that can be found in market in terms of clients' relationships. We have reached out for help through the Academy of Service, an institution specialized in client relationship for enterprise. We have analyzed things in much more details on the HR and people recruitment sides, from team training to level of the staffing needed to better support client experience each step of their journey. Lastly, we have had to embark all of our franchisees and our collaborators in this journey. That is why we created the Service Academy. Once you touch a company's culture, change must stem at each levels of the business. From the president to the team member, we will bring you your trade at the table, because if it was simple about physical change, would certainly be easier. Let's look at changes that we have operated from physical and equipment point of view. Service side, we no longer have menu board in our restaurants, which has become irrelevant to a majority of our customers taking order directly at the self-ordering kiosks. We have opened a front counters to facilitate the flow of employees and allow them to optimize the table service process. What we should remember, we have broken down part of the counter barrier, which brought us back to our fast food image. Production side, this is what we will focus on during this presentation. Order-led production changes everything in our operational mode. Finally, the assembly. This crucial step in the process was to focus on our analysis because it brings together all of the production lines, sandwiches, fries, and drinks and desserts. The entire solution using 3 production lines works pretty well in standard McDonald's conditions, but presents new challenges when brought to the French conditions. This is due to the high number of transactions, high arrival rate over a 15-minute period, also due to the number of items bought, which when combined impacts the order assembly table, or OAT, as we can call it, where whole production line are delivering all sandwiches. These congestions of sandwiches affects our capacity to produce and serve our customers quickly. And quickly, we were able to identify the source of this issue. If we produce complete orders on each line, sandwich per sandwich, insertion in the hub and spoke tunnel, causes all of the orders to be mixed and requires to reconstruct each order at the exit of the order assembly table at the assembly step. We have therefore identified a potential solution, not by bypassing the constraint, but by analyzing the root cause of it. We shall keep all orders assembled throughout the entire process. This is an easy solution to simplify the crew's workload and maximize the preparation time. This also avoids loss of time and increase capacity to serve more orders on the same period of time. The grouped order solution is based on full kit and the one piece of flow principles. We make sure that the order is completed from the first step in the kitchen, which is the initiation point, before releasing the second one. We asked Maris Consulting to support us in this approach. We asked them to analyze all our processes and propose improvements. Food restaurant must stay both simple and robust. The solution has to be relevant and present a positive impact on our service time and financial results. The food restaurant model has to evolve in order to secure current and future investments. Additionally, our McDonald's system is not one production line in a factory, but 3 production lines in 1,500 restaurants. Applying the theory of constraints during our observations phase and our analysis, we have identified 5 priorities to improve our system and make it more reliable and more robust. The first priority is the management at the assembly station. This is the main blocking point, and we have already talked about it. The second priority corresponds to the bump process. To put it simple, this action taken by our crew members indicates to our computer system that all of the sandwiches for an order are ready and that the production line can take a new order. In fact, this system controlled by the teams determines the new order ordered on each production line and therefore gives the team member the possibility of controlling the load of this line and therefore the speed of production, and to conclude, the speed of execution of the whole kitchen. Our third priority was to give visibility to our managers and crew members on preparation time in real time. This crucial indicator for our sector of activity was no longer at the heart of our concerns within the production area, only on the service side, even though they are ultimately linked. To quickly deliver an order to the customers, I must ensure that it is processed as quickly as possible in the kitchen and produced in a given time in order to be assembled and then served to these customers. The fourth was to make sure that our restaurant teams paid the same attention to their performance during the peak and off-peak hours. This makes it possible to standardize our working methods to avoid possible drift in terms of quality of products served and speed of service. Finally, our fifth priority is at the table service tab. To be efficient and facilitate the works of the teams to serve our customers at the table, we had to review our service processes and equip ourselves with a geolocalization system in the dining room to easily identify the customers waiting to be served. In conclusion, we have therefore reviewed all of the steps throughout the entire process, from the kitchen production chain, the assembly at the order, assembly table, to customer service, ensuring that our teams could at all the time have control over their performance to ensure that together they are able to achieve their service time, number of transactions, and therefore sales targets. To be able to operate this change uniformly across the market while limiting the risks of business impact, we operated in steps. First, by carrying out a diagnosis on a restaurant, analyzing several types of building with different configurations, and finally, testing our solution on this same restaurant before proceeding with a sequenced deployment across the entire market. In McDonald's, our challenge with each change is to train more than 70,000 employees distributed in 1,500 restaurants operating on average 3 production lines. The principles of our solution are quite simple and easily applicable by our restaurant teams. The crew members follow the same process as before, but a pick list will allow them to identify throughout the process the order number, the quantity of sandwiches constituting the order he is preparing. This ticket then make it possible to group all the product on a single tray. Identification is then facilitated when sandwiches arrive at the assembly station on one tray. We have studied different options to group the order, change the ticket to make it easier for our crew members to read, and finally, reviewed our equipment standard so that the transformation is also done with a controlled investment for all of our owner-operators. TOC has allowed us to ban some practices such as productivity at a local level at the initiation step. In the beginning, we create an indicator that was used to measure the speed of the crew members to bump orders. This practice tended to send products into the system without worrying about the downstream flow. Breaking this kind of local measurement allows us to have more fluidity of the OAT. All the actions undertaken in parallel, starting from the bump in the kitchen, which controls the order, throughput arriving in the kitchen, the visibility given around preparation time, the uniform treatment throughout the day, enabled us to act on the process of the group order with a potential gain at the pilot phase estimated at 25 seconds. However, at the same time, we had to review a crucial position in our system, the storage unit of our proteins, which became, at the acceleration of our process with the implementation of the group order, the central point of all of our warning. Indeed, one part is not properly supplied. The whole production chain stopped despite of our effort to make it more efficient. As a result, while working on the implementation, we have also worked on training of our teams in the management of this storage unit, create visibility on protein shortages that can affect the entire process, and finally, review our forecasting system to better anticipate this during peak hours and work in real time during the off-peak hours. Unlike any industry, our challenge is standardization in a market of more 1,400 restaurants with 70,000 employees. Accordingly, we have decided with a team of 60 McDonald's field consultants to organize a training road trip across France. This road trip then allowed us, through 4 visits to restaurants open to customers, to demonstrate from an individualized diagnosis, focusing on improving pain points, to train coaches in each restaurant to take over from our expert and make them a real expert too, but also establish an individual action plan for each restaurant. Finally, to follow up developments in improving their performance over time to continue to motivate them and ensure the sustainability of our actions and our results. One of the main goals here is achieving operational excellence to ensure the best customer experience. I will say that our objective has been reached, and here we are. The results are visible today, and this is impressive. Since the beginning of our test phases, we have achieved excellent results. At the time of the deployment, 88% of our restaurants reached more than 80% during the follow-up visit, while only 6% of them reached these scores during the diagnostic visit. The number of restaurants having fewer than 5 shortages of proteins during peak periods increased from 12 to 44%. We have observed a 46-second reduction in service time saved between the first diagnostic visit and the second at last follow-up visit. These results were later confirmed with more than 35 seconds gain over the lunchtime and 49 seconds gain over the dinner time. Most importantly, every second gain is a potential increase in our business. The more time you save on peaks, the more customers you can serve within this time frame. One, the strength of this experience, we identified a new opportunity in the beverages and dessert production area, and we decided to apply the same assembly principle with the group order. We therefore reviewed the organization of our beverage cell to ensure the application of the principles by our restaurant team and facilitate the work of the team member in charge of finalizing the order. It is therefore this new chapter that we wanted to write with our customers, offering an experience never before equaled in the McDonald's world around the world. France offers our system the possibility of playing the pilot fish given our very specific conditions, which require us to go further and faster. And our customers tell us we have gained plus 19 points of overall satisfaction compared to our whole production and service platform, other 22 points recommended, and another 90 points in the friendliness from our staff, with scores just as encouraging in terms of quality perception at plus 15 points, taste plus 20 points, and finally, the freshness of the product plus 23 points. Full Restaurant has allowed McDonald's France to reach a milestone and today give us the opportunity to continue to increase our leadership. This transformation was not easy. It is still a journey, and we will have converted the world market into 21. But with more than 80% of the market converted today, a large part of the work has been done because we were able to question ourselves, because we were able to seek the necessary expertise to go further. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank Maris Consulting, with whom we have developed a strong partnership to improve our operational performance and continuously improve our operational excellence. To conclude, let me tell you about our plans for the future. Firstly, we are redesigning our future restaurants to better integrate the new operating system. In particular, we have to modify the equipment so that trays can be more easily used and transferred in our kitchens. Secondly, we have decided to improve our mastery of certain key pieces of equipment. We are, for example, by far the largest distributor of ice cream in the world, so we must become the world's experts in the ice cream distributing equipment and ensure that these machines are perfectly adapted to our needs. Thirdly, obviously, we will continue to automate some of our operations wherever possible. Fourthly, we will continue to increase and improve our home and office delivery activity. And of course, we have several other exciting projects that I can't tell you about. Thank you, all of you, for your attention.